wherever you are on the planet. I'm Dr. Yasapa from Zion Law School. Okay? This is a presentation on the Gospels and the Zodiac, y'all. The secret truth. The secret truth about JC, the Christ figure, by the Reverend Bill Darrell-El. Okay? So as I always say, why is the truth a secret? Okay? And it's precisely because it's related to astrology, and the powers that be don't want y'all to know anything about the science of the cosmos, the science of astrology, so much that they have slandered, libeled, and scared people away from the study of the cosmos. When you hear astrology, people think witches, warlocks, devils, and demons, right? When you hear astrology, when it's actually nothing more than a science, okay? Observation of nature. That's all it is, y'all. Observing nature. And from that observation, figuring out what's what, how it works, and in this case, energies, right? And then how you can harness and use those energies, period. Period. That's all it is. Just like anything else. The study of magnetism, right? And everything else that came along with being able to harness and use electricity. The study of, let's say, nuclear energy. Studying that, observing it, testing, observing, the whole scientific method, and then harnessing that power. Okay, and now you have nuclear energy. You can use it negatively as a bomb, or you can use it in a way that's positive and beneficial as a source of nuclear power. Y'all see? It in itself is neither good nor bad. Let me repeat it. Energy, regardless of its source, be it cosmic energy, astrology, nuclear energy, electricity, fossil fuels, hydro energy, water, it's neither good or bad. How you use it is what matters. Okay, y'all? Use the energy for constructive purposes or destructive purposes. That depends on who is using it, their state of mind, their level of consciousness, right? And then also what their capacities and tendencies are. So if you have hybrids in control, of course the hybrids are going to be hybrids. That's their nature. Okay, and y'all go back and research the personality of Hanuman and the hybrids, okay? The half monkey, half man, Genesis chapter 1, created creature, genetically engineered created creature. Okay, so the story is commonly told as the Yaqub story, with his 12 female co-scientists, co-engineers, who helped to create that created creature. All right, the Paleolithic Hanuman, troglodyte nigger, the Neanderthal. And we're dealing with a refined Hanuman, or human being, a hybrid of Genesis chapter 1. That's who is in control of the religio-political system and the socio-economic system, okay? That's who's in control. So you need to expect nothing more and nothing less than animalistic, object-oriented behavior. Okay? Period. To expect anything else means you're not dealing well with reality. If you're expecting sincere honesty, you're not going to get that. Right? Y'all go back and research the personalities of these created creatures, the human being. If this is your first time being here in one of my presentations, you should know that there's a difference between the Genesis chapter 1 created creature by the Elohim, the Moors, okay, the Moors, and I'm not talking about a religious group. I'm talking about autochthonous men and women created from the soil. These are the Moors. Genesis chapter 2, and they created the Genesis chapter 1 creature that I just mentioned, the humans, or the colorable man. Colorable in law means having the likeness of but not the substance. It used to be that people thought metaphysically human means man with hue. No. In law, human means a fake man. Looks like a man, but it doesn't have the substance of a man. Doesn't have the psychology, the consciousness of a man. Okay, only looks like a man. And y'all can look at some of them and you can see something's wrong, right? I mean, come on, it's not just me. Everybody can see that. And they're not all pale skinned. They're not all pale skinned. Okay? But anyway, go back. I highly recommend y'all go back and research the personalities of these creatures. Okay? And start dealing with man in a way that acknowledges that they are man and woman, and the created creature in a way that acknowledges that they are the created or a created creature. Then you won't have problems. You won't expect things that you can never get. You won't be surprised or disappointed when you deal. I mean, when you deal with a bird, you don't expect the bird to act like a man, do you? Or a woman. You don't expect the cat to act like a dog, do you? Well, you certainly shouldn't expect a, let's say, a lion to act like a neighborhood cat, a kitty cat. And neither should you expect a Neanderthal or a human to behave like a man and to think like a man. All right? So go look up colorable or color in any good law dictionary. All right? Also, look on my YouTube channel here, Zion Law School. There's a video called something like semantics or something like that. Look at the video where you'll see a Neanderthal on a stake. I have another video with a baby chimpanzee and a baby orangutan. Go look at those. All right? Go look at this information will open your eyes. If you don't have on blinders yet. If you do have on blinders and you keep following my content, I can almost guarantee you that those scales, those blinders are going to fall off of your eyes. Okay? It's not because of anything I made up. I'm only presenting information. In almost all my videos, I show you the books. Okay? Now, I give my analysis, and that's my value. Okay? I give my analysis. But you don't ever have to worry about whether I made something up or not. I can take you right underneath the English or the biblical Hebrew and reveal to you the ancient Ibaryath and present to you that information from a literal point of view coming straight out of the ancient Ibaryath, what y'all call the Hebrew scriptures. And I can open your eyes using etymology and other linguistic tools. Nothing to do with religion, nothing to do with doctrine, nothing to do with the political position. If that's the kind of education you want, a real education, you keep showing up here. Keep showing up here, but be careful what you wish for. Okay? Be careful what you wish for. Because once your eyes open, there's no turning back. Let me repeat that. Once your eyes open, there's no turning back. And that's a good thing. That's a good thing because the past is dead and gone. And people who are not supportive of your advancement are not people, quite frankly, who do you any good if you hang around them. Okay? You let your child, if you let your male, your little youngins hang around bums and drug addicts, what do you think is going to happen to them? Well, it's the same thing with adults. Okay? You got to keep moving forward until you get to the point where you are what? Operating 100% of the time in your higher self, the higher consciousness. You in fact are what? Behaving as the Christ. You left that devil, that devilish behavior, that dirty, rotten betrayer thing and stuff you used to be and do, you left that behind. Okay, the lights are on. And quite frankly, those people who are in the darkness of religion, when you turn on this bright light, it hurts. They're going to do like this, right? Reject you, probably try to hurt you, depending on, just how bad they are or how much they're into that religion, right? Turn you in, turn you into the religion and they kick you out. If you're a JW or any of these other religions who do that kind of thing. Okay, so the darkness cannot tolerate the light. It's too much. Okay, so once your eyes are open, cannot close them. Okay, now let's get into our. So beware. Okay, if you don't want your life to change in the most fundamental ways, in a good way, then this is not the place for you. You need to go to another channel. All right? Because what I present is life-changing in a positive way. This will raise you up. Put money in your pockets, or put fiat in your pockets, or whatever else you want. You'll get that here. This will get you a whole new set of friends, or a man and a woman. It'll get you the success and achievement, the accomplishment that you want in life. But don't expect the people you're running around with right now to keep running around with you. You're going to change all of that. So if you're prepared for Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 1 through 14, the blessings, if you're prepared for that, then you stay. Stay. But if you want to continue as you are in the punishments and in the curses, right, you need to go. And I'm inviting you to leave because I don't want that type of mind here. I don't want that mind here. All right, so we're on page 161 at the bottom. Nope. Scratch that. We already did that. Like and share the video, y'all. Help with the distribution of this. See, it's not a lot of people who are willing to take this step. Some people in bondage, they don't want to go. Especially the house niggas, right? The people who are benefiting. And then you have the cowards. The cowards in the field. Page 162. They're too scared to go, right? They're too afraid. All right, so let's begin at the top of page 162. All right, those of you who may be new, the Scorpio section of Mark's Gospel begins with Mark chapter 10, verse 32 through 52. All right? So each of these zodiacal signs are presented in a different series of verses in Mark. Mark is said to be the first of the Gospels. Therefore, if Mark is the first of the Gospels, and it is also said that the other Gospel writers used Mark as the basis of their Gospels. Now, whether that's true or not, I don't know. I'm just passing the information to you. Okay? And some wrote things as a corrective or correction to what Mark wrote. Okay? Now, in religion, they'll teach you that Mark gave his opinion, Matthew gave his opinion, and although they're different, it's showing a different perspective or something, or giving you something that the other left out. So now you have both points of view on that. You do with that with what you want. Okay, page 162. The lesson of Scorpio is that before we can ascend, we have to descend. We discussed this in the last presentation, and that is absolutely false. That is absolutely false. You do not have to descend unless you've been born into a community, a family, a nation where you have been taught negative habits. You have been taught negative habits. You have a negative self-image. And you actually have been taught to go against nature. What does all of this mean? That's religion. Religion teaches you to go against nature. Y'all think about that if you don't know what I'm talking about. Also go back and watch the videos that I have done on natural law. Okay, and I'll continue to do those videos on natural law. All right? So in other words, if you have some type of deficiency, a negative habit, your mind ain't right, religion, then you need to fall. Why? Because pain is a corrective sign that tells you stop doing this. Try another move. Deuteronomy 28, 15 through 68 is nothing but pain. And that pain says what? Stop. Stop. Think. Analyze. Take a different action. What's the different action? Stop breaking the Most High's commandments and start keeping them. Pain is what brings that to your consciousness. And pain is what gets you to the point where you enjoy it, and then it starts to hurt, and then you come to the realization, wait a minute, I don't want to live like this anymore. That's the service and the function of pain. Pain is actually a good thing if you acknowledge it. Okay, so we lost a connection, but I'm back now. Pain is a good thing if you acknowledge it. If you acknowledge it and then act on it positively, get out of the pain. Pain is not meant to sit there and linger in like dirty water, like dirty bathtub water. No, get out. That's the signal. Okay? Get out and get into what? Get into comfort and pleasure. This is Deuteronomy 28, 1 through 14, the blessings. Do y'all understand? I'm sure you understand. So let's not talk about that anymore. Let's continue. And if significant, and it is significant that the Scorpio section of the gospel takes place as JC and his apostles approach Jericho. Jericho is the ideal place for teaching about descending and ascending, since it is the lowest place on earth, 825 feet below sea level. Before the ascent to Jerusalem, which is 2,500 feet above sea level, comes the descent into Jericho. Now, watch the video that I did on the promised land according to Moses. You'll see that the promised land is not there. All right? It's not in East Africa. That landmass is now called Israel. That is not the promised land. But go watch the video. It's not a religious thing. Okay? When you watch that, it's very clear. Also watch the video that I did with Sonetta on my the homepage of this YouTube channel. The title is something like all Abrahamic religions are a fraud or a hoax or something like that. I also did that same video with Dr. G from the House of Reawakening Minds. But the one with Sonetta is more educational because he's not cutting me off. The one with Dr. G, there's a lot of interruptions, okay? And you'll get more information with the one I did on Sonetta. That's why I put it on the homepage of this YouTube channel. So y'all go watch that. That's going to clearly show you the condition of the promised land and that the Gospels never happened, okay? At least not in the story that they present in the New Testament. Okay? Let's continue. But the lesson here is, remember, the lesson is not what they present on page 162. You do not have to fail, to suffer, to get the blessings. You do not. You don't. If you have a healthy personality, meaning that you grew up in a healthy family, a healthy community, you have not been spoiled, destroyed with religion, you're going to be all right. Harmonizing with nature is easy, very easy. It's the religion and it's the suffering and anguish that parents put, that mothers, let me rephrase that women put their seed through, that fathers put their seed through, that the man and the woman put each other through. All of that toxicity. Okay, that's what will lead you into a situation where you need to suffer in order to overcome that deficiency. Men don't know how to be men, right? Or a woman doesn't know how to be a woman. Now you're going to have to suffer to learn how to break those bad habits. Okay, next paragraph. In the light of such considerations, the urge to grasp for the... We already went through this. I'm going to skip this. I don't want to go through this again. Well, I won't go through that either. But I really like this chapter, this paragraph here, y'all. If y'all want me to go through this, put it in the... I did this in the last presentation. But I really, really like this paragraph. Because in this paragraph, the author's going to tell you... Let me go through this. The author's going to tell you etymologically, based on the language, JC never came and died for nobody. The Gospels never said that. That's something that was made up, y'all. This is significant enough for me to go through this again. Like and share the video, okay? If you don't want me to do this again, put it in the comment section and I won't. Put a 1 in the comment section and I will not go through this again. All right? The word, quote unquote, ransom in Latin is lutron, L-U-T-R-O-N, L-U-T-R-O-N. Has been taken by later. If there's a later, there must be a what? A reference to an earlier. By the later Christian theology. Okay, so these are people who came up with the Christian doctrine after JC, the Christ figure, after all of the apostles, even until now. Later theologians, later Christian theologians. The word ransom, lutron, has been taken by later Christian theology to refer to Christ's sacrificial death on the cross, by which the price of men's sins is paid, to capital G-O-D. But such an idea owes little to Mark and more to Paul. Y'all heard that? Mark is the first gospel that was written. Mark never said anything about Christ's death being a sacrificial death for men's, M-E-N apostrophe S, men's sins. That's new. That came from Paul and others after Paul. Listen, y'all, listen. And to those Scorpionic theologians, those church fathers or significant people who created the Christian doctrine. According to this author, St. Augustine, he was a Scorpio, born on the 13th of November in the year 354 AD. Now, JC is said to have died in the year 33 AD or CE, right? So you talk about 300 plus more years past the birth, the death of JC, the Christ figure. St. Augustine, a Scorpio. And Martin Luther, a Scorpio, born November 10 in the year 1483. That's where the concept or the doctrine of Christ dying a sacrificial death for all men's sins comes from. It's not original. Mark never said that. And Mark is the original gospel. Let that sink in. Let that sink in. So here you are, so-called Hebrew Israelite, Christian, or whatever else. You think you're so spiritual, connected to whatever deity you follow. And here you are, the most critical aspect of your faith comes from hybrid, troglodyte, Paleolithic, Neanderthal niggers. Didn't come from JC the Christ figure as you've been taught. And I'm not talking religion, I'm talking about the historicity of it. I don't have a dog in this race. I don't care what you believe. This book is by a Christian scholar. He doesn't have a motive to lie to you. But you can easily go check his facts. Right? But do you have the discipline, or let me not say that, do you have the interest? Do you have enough interest to go and do it? To go and check it? Or are you happy in your punishments? Remember what I talked about earlier? Some people want to be in the curses. Happy, comfortable in your suffering. Why? Because that's what your religion has taught you. You think it's godly to suffer. Well, in fact, it is not. It is not of the Most High to suffer. Suffer is for punishment. Y'all go back and read the contract again if you don't understand that, or if it rubs you the wrong way. Deuteronomy 28, 1 through 68. Go read it all. The reward for following the Most High's commandment is extreme wealth, noble status, or acknowledgement of your noble status, and complete control and power over the earth and all of its resources and energy. Period. And the punishment for not following the Most High's commandments, which are natural law, is pain, suffering, sickness, death, poverty, loss of your noble status, bondage, humiliation. Get it straight. Get it straight. What do you want? If you're comfortable, this is not the place for you. I'm inviting you to leave. Okay. I need to go back. The word ransom, lutron, has been taken by later Christian theology to refer to Christ's sacrificial death on the cross, by which the price of men's sins is paid to capital G-O-D, but such an idea owes little to Mark and more to Paul, and to those Scorpionic theologians, St. Augustine, born November 13 in the year 354 AD, and Martin Luther, born November 10 in the year 1483 AD, for whom a once and for all transaction seemed very appealing. This is the propitiatory sacrifice that the alleged Christ figure, JC, gave. Okay? All right? 1483 came after 1452. The fall of the Moors. The fall of the Moors. You need to get these Moors, into Christianity. Give them a motivation. Right? They're suffering, they're in bondage. Okay, give them a way out. The way out is what? The once and for all transaction, the propitiatory sacrifice. You suffer now, accept it, accept your new status. You're going to go to heaven afterward. But in the gospel context, okay, now we're going to go back to Mark. In the gospel context means Mark's. Okay, this is the earlier. Paul, St. Augustus, Martin Luther, that's the later theologians who created this Christ died for you as a one-time transaction, propitiatory sacrifice. Let's go back to the earlier theologian, or Mark's writings, the Gospels itself. But in the gospel context, it is more likely to refer to the redemptive nature of all suffering, not specific to any man or deity, i.e. JC, the Christ figure. Okay? It is likely to refer to the redemptive nature of all suffering. In other words, suffering causes pain. Pain will make you stop and say, wait a minute, maybe I need to, or I definitely need to stop doing this. It's painful. I'm going to leave him or her alone. Okay, or I'm gonna stop doing this, or I'm not gonna jump off another mountain, or I'm not gonna what? Cheat anybody anymore. You got a beat down, right? You got a beat down. Now you're not gonna do that again. you've been corrected. Okay. And by the way, well, never mind. That I get off that. Let's go back to it. But in the gospel context, it is more likely to refer to the redemptive nature of all suffering and to the nobility and possibility of suffering on behalf of someone else. All right, so in the Gospels, it had nothing to do at all with a ransom sacrifice of one man saving all of the other men who sinned. Made up story. Isn't that consistent with what you find in the Old Testament writings? Okay, y'all? All right? And isn't it true? Isn't it true that if you want to break a bad habit, if you experience something enough that's so painful, so destructive in your life, you can stop that habit immediately. For example, there are some people who used to smoke cigarettes, right? They get a diagnosis of cancer. Or they get shortness of breath, have to go to the emergency room, scares them to death. That's the last cigarette they ever smoked. Y'all know people like that? I've met people like that. Okay? So you go from in the darkness, lower self-behavior, suffering and pain. And that pain will make you realize, I need to stop doing this. And as you stop doing these things, you move closer and closer to higher self-behavior, closer and closer to being the Christ instead of being the devil that you once were or that you are now. Literally, right? The devil and the devil and the Christ, this is one. All of that's in you. You are the devil and the Christ. Okay? So let's continue. Since Scorpio is related to shared resources, now I brought out shared resources. This is the earth, the resources, and all of the energy that we share. And inheritance. This is based upon what? Birthright, nationality. It concerns those intimate, unseen bonds by which living, that's when you're in your proper status, right? You're a living man or woman in your proper status as a autochthonous Moor, native to the Americas, in our case. And dead, this is the civilly dead. This is the 14th Amendment, U.S. employee / U.S. citizen / you who are held in bondage as chattel according to the directive in Genesis chapter 1 that the Elohim gave the human to dominate, put you in subjection, have superiority over you, have mastery over you. Okay? Related, I hope that's clear. Which the living and the dead are connected to each other. Yes, connected how? Connected how? Through a creditor-debtor relationship. That's the connection. Creditor-debtor relationship. Or what? Man-animal. Clear? Which ensure that, quote, no man is an island. Y'all got that? No man is an island. Law governs commerce. All right? Let me see what time it is, y'all. Law governs commerce. Okay? No man is an island. My rights end where they begin to injure or harm you. And yours ends in the same place. Okay? I'm speaking natural law. Karma is a reality. That's cause and effect. Okay? Cause and effect. You do something that's out of harmony with natural law, with the Most High's commandments, you will experience pain. Cause and effect. And if your mind is not too far gone, that pain will eventually tell you to stop. Some of y'all know y'all need to get out of religion. A lot of the men have already abandoned religion, the physical church. They don't go anymore. But it's still here. Okay, so what we have to do is correct the mindset. Correct the mindset. The beliefs. Get out of the beliefs. That's the problem. Y'all still in belief, even though you left the physical church. You still have those beliefs. You're in that religious paradigm. You need to exit that, return to the Most High, return to nature. Okay? Karma is a reality, and that the effects of our thoughts and actions extend beyond ourselves in space and time. Okay, this is your creative faculty. This is your quote-unquote, or connotatively speaking, your God faculty. What you speak becomes reality. All right? What you feel, expressed in words, becomes reality. This is the great I am. All right? Our call then is not to personal ambition and power, as I mentioned in the last video. That's not true. It is your call, Deuteronomy 28, 1 through 14. But it's the proper use of power. But to service and to suffering, absolutely not. No suffering. No suffering. Always remember, suffering is a punishment. Okay? Which are the only, that is not true, only means by which any kind of transformation, individual or collective, can be effected. That is not true. Only when you have bad habits and a paradigm that's out of harmony with nature do you need to suffer, because suffering is corrective. Okay? So Dane Rutyer addresses these very themes in his chapter on Scorpio. All right. I'll see y'all in a couple hours. Be sure to support my project to write the book of the law in ancient Ibaryath and modern English. If you feel it in your heart that we need to have this document, y'all go ahead and support it. Cash App is $DrYasapa. PayPal is PayPal.me/Zion Law School. But y'all check it. If you don't want to contribute that way, buy my books. I have plenty ancient Ibaryath books, animals in the Bible for children, for little ones and adults. All right, support my work so that I can write, produce, distribute, market, everything that's required to get our own book of the law out, so we can stop being dependent to our humiliation and embarrassment on those people who hate us and oppress us. Now, if you accept that smile and that sweet talk, go back and watch the beginning of this presentation and listen to the things that I said. Shalom and Islam to all the Moors.